are. Hello. Do you want to look at the camera? Look at the camera. Oh, Fluffy. Okay, she doesn't want to be here. Hi, hello, I'm Cecilia, and yes, we are in a different location today. I'm at my parents' house for the weekend, and I still wanted to upload today, so here we are. There is a distinct lack of squishmallows and sensory overload art studio vibes here, but we have this adorable crochet blanket and this guy to compensate for that. So today's a little bit of a different video than usual. As I probably mentioned before, I am not only an artist and a self-taught business owner, I am also a Dutch literature student. And for a recent university assignment, I decided to combine both of my passions, so books and art. And I just really want to show my assignment today because it has been kind of taking over my life and it's been incredibly time consuming, but I'm also just really proud of it.
Pride is a sin, Your Grace.
I know this is not my usual sticker business and art business and studio vlog shenanigans type of video, but I hope you'll stick around for this shorter video. So, long story short, I illustrated and wrote and designed an entire picture book. And today I want to show you the end result. Before we get into a flip through of the book, let me give you a rundown of the actual assignment. I had to adapt a 19th century Dutch novel for modern audiences, and without getting into too much technical detail, I chose a moralistic fairy tale called De Kleine Johannes, written by Frederik van Ede in 1885, and I adapted the story for children. I rewrote the entire novel to be about 800 words and illustrated the entire thing. This was pretty difficult because the original story takes a rather dark and death-centered turn, so I had to make quite a lot of adaptations to make it suitable for children around 5 to 6 years old. But of course, for my audience here, it's mostly about the art. Here it is. I made 25 illustrations for this book, and the book consists of 25 pages of my original illustrations, and all of that was in a style that I'm still developing but that I've grown really fond of. Soft, muted colors and round shapes are kind of the staple for this book, and I was heavily inspired by books like The Little Prince and illustrations that feature soft tones and simple shapes. Anyway, I'm gonna give the camera to future me so that we can do a flip through of this book, and maybe or hopefully I'll have something useful to say in the voiceover. You, the viewer, and editing voiceover me meet again. Hello. I am just going to flip through the entire book and I'm gonna try and explain the story and translate the story for you. So we'll find out if my English is good enough to translate on the spot. You just saw me show you the cover and the back piece of the artwork. And honestly, the cover artwork is one of my favorite pieces I made for this book. You'll see it again when I flip the page here. This piece was the first piece I made for the book and it really set the tone. I'm really happy with how it turned out. Anyway, these initial pages are maybe not the most interesting. It just explains the title, and here's a colophon with all the references. Anyway, here we go, translating skills for the win. Today I will tell you the story of the little Johannes. Our friend had fallen asleep in a large garden after a long day in school. But then a wondrous thing happened. He met a real fairy. "I am Windekind," said the fairy. "Shall I show you the animal kingdom?" Johannes would love to see that. As soon as Windekind touched him, Johannes noticed that everything around him was bigger, or no, he had shrunk. He was now as small as an ant. Windekind showed Johannes all manner of fantastical things. The animal kingdom was beautiful. There was a party in a rabbit's home, and Johannes had never danced so much. Underneath the tree, there was an anthill where the peace ants lived. They guarded the animal kingdom. Johannes wanted to stay and ask questions, but Windekind pulled on his scarf. They still had to visit the cricket school. At the end of the day, Johannes met the gnome Wistik. "Good afternoon, are you also in search of the manual?" Johannes didn't know what the manual was. The gnome said, "That is a book with answers to every question you will ever have." With wide eyes, Johannes asked where he could find this manual. Windekind spoke to Johannes in a strict manner. "It's not good to want to find all answers," he said. But Johannes wanted to know everything. Windekind shook his head and sent Johannes back to the human world. And suddenly, Johannes lay in the big garden as a big human. Had the whole wondrous animal kingdom been a dream? Johannes was confused, but luckily the gardener found him and took him back to the big house. There, Johannes met the gardener's sweet and beautiful daughter, Robinetta. They played all night on the wooden kitchen floor with marbles. But Johannes couldn't help it. "Have you ever heard of a manual, a book with all answers?" Robinetta laughed. She grabbed her diary and said, "I learn a lot when I write in my diary." Then it was Johannes' turn to laugh. "It's not possible to find all answers yourself." Robinetta was hurt. "Well, if you don't believe me, why don't you go to the city and find answers there?" And so Johannes did. The walk to the city was long, and Johannes met more and more people along the way. They seemed tired and sad. Johannes entered the town school. Maybe he could find the manual there. Behind the desk, he found Mr. Cijfer and Mr. Pluizer. "Oh yes," said Mr. Cijfer, "all answers are to be found when you can do math. With numbers, you can measure the whole world." "But no," said Mr. Pluizer, "you'll find answers if you read. Read as much as you can and you'll never have questions." And so Johannes sat in the classroom. He did math and read books, but he still had questions. Why did no one ever mention the animal kingdom? During class break, Johannes walked through the city. To his surprise, he met someone from the animal kingdom at the river. "Hello," said the mouse, "can you see me?" "Yes," Johannes exclaimed. "I am Hein. I save people who are too tired to stay awake. I take people with me and I care for them." Johannes thought Hein did great work. "Can I come with you, Hein? I want to help people too." Hein shook his head. "No, little Johannes, you're not tired yet." Johannes thought. He was tired sometimes, especially after trying to find the manual for so long. "Maybe," Hein said slowly, "you already have enough answers to help people." Johannes jumped when an older lady bumped into him. He rushed towards her and helped her up. "Are you hurt?" he asked. "No, dear boy, thank you." Hein smiled and said, "See?" When the older lady had safely passed, Johannes heard a familiar voice. Windekind smiled. "If you really want, you can join me and Hein and come with us to the animal kingdom." Johannes thought about all the beautiful things he had seen, but then he thought about the old lady. "No," Johannes said, "I want to stay here and help people." Windekind nodded and Hein was very proud. "Then take this book, little Johannes." The book that Windekind gave Johannes was very light. He wondered if this was the manual, but when he opened it, he found only a flower. "Plant this flower," Windekind said, "and you will make the human world a little bit prettier." And so Johannes planted the flower in the middle of the city. It blossomed as beautiful as the animal kingdom. Windekind and Hein traveled back to the animal kingdom on a leaf drifting in the river. Windekind waved as long as possible. "Bye, little Johannes." Well, that was the story. I hope my translation was okay. On this last page, I just have a little bit of information about the author and about myself and about the project. And yeah, that's basically it. Well, that was the entire book. I'm really curious to hear what you have to say and what you think of it, so please let me know. This project was truly a wonder to make, and I'm so grateful I got to do this and I learned so much from it. But I'm not gonna say too much now, so like the video if you liked it, and if you didn't, then thank you for making it to the end anyway. Please subscribe to help my small channel grow, especially if you like art biz shenanigans and sticker making. And if you made it to the end, leave a comment with a fairy tale inspired emoji. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye! I'm at my parents' house, and my dog just jumped on the floor and you heard her. Okay, let's do that again.